what's up all you lovely learners out there in learning land? Tyler from 10thumbspro.com coming at you with another ukulele tutorial like we do every single Wednesday and Saturday. If you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a lesson. Today I'm going to show you how to add licks and fills to any song. Which songs? Any song. I'll show you my process and then I'll even show you 5 licks as examples. Printable tabs in the PDF form with this tutorial and all our tutorials by becoming a Patreon. Links in the note. Links below as well. Skype lessons one-on-one if interested. But if you came just because you want to add some licks to your songs, that's cool. I dig it and I respect it. Why don't you go ahead and grab your ukulele? Brain and attention span. Once you have those 3 things, follow me on in and let's break it down. Okay, real quick, when we start out, the very first thing I'm going to do is talk about identifying the key. If you know how to identify the key, feel free to fast forward to get right to the licks and talk about the fills. If you don't, just know this isn't meant to be a comprehensive way to figure out the key. These are just a couple of quick ideas. Because examining the chord progression is ultimately how you're going to know the key. Now, having said that, if it's hard for you to identify the key, another really great and easy way is just Google. So you just put the song in, I don't know, Star Spangled Banner. And then that was the first song that came to mind. And then Google the key and Google will tell you the key. So that's another really easy way to do it. Another way is examining the chord progression. So we have a chord progression now. It's going to go C, A minor, F, G. And let's pretend that each of these is one full measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to examine that to figure out which one it is. One good thing to print out and have is a chord chart, because then you can just put these chords up with a chord chart like this, look across the line and identify it. See, okay, all 4 of these chords fit in this line. That means the key is C major. So that's a way to do it using a chord chart, and that would be the second easiest after Google. The third is kind of seeing some patterns. One is C and A minor are what's known as relative majors and minors. When you see the chords of C and A minor in the same song, it's probably going to be the key of C. Okay, the other thing is F and G are only 2 frets apart, and they're both major chords. So you have an F major and a G major. That lets me know I have the subdominant and dominant, or the 4th and the 5th chord of the key of C. So those are all ways to figure out the key. Now, I was pretty brief with that because this lesson is more geared towards how to add these fills, but those are just some ideas on how to do it. The easiest way is through Google. Alright, so we've determined that our key is the key of C because of our F and G, subdominant, dominant, and because of our C and A minor, our relative majors and minors. And let's say hypothetically the melody goes do 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 do. Notice how over that G chord there is a lot more space. The melody's more sparse. That's a good place for your fill. It's good because you don't want your fills in general to clash or compete with your vocalist. If you're playing or singing, or even worse, if your friend is singing, and while they're singing, you're over the top of what they're doing, you're not gonna have very good music. It's gonna sound a little bit clustered and a little bit confusing, okay? So we've identified where our melody gives us space to create this fill. The next thing, we know the key, we know where we want it. Well, how? If I'm in the key of C major, C major, I'm going to use the C major pentatonic. The first 2 shapes of the C major pentatonic are O2, O3, O3. Shape 2 being 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 5. Over time, when you do a lot of this, these shapes and ideas, you will commit them to memory. But that's another place again where Google or Yahoo or whatever your favorite search engine is can help you out. Once you've identified the key, you can just put in there C major pentatonic ukulele, and plenty of sites will come up and they'll generate the scale for you. So I'm going to use that scale in that space to create a fill. My fill is going to sound like this. Okay, one more time. And what I'm doing is, because I'm doing it over this G, I'm intentionally finishing on a G note. And I have one measure or 4 beats to fill up the space. So I'm pulling off 5 to 3 with my ring finger to the 3rd fret, getting my middle finger on the 4th fret of the C string, dropping down with my index finger to grab the 3rd fret of the A string and then the 3rd fret of the E string, which is a G note. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2, 3. So in the context of the song, over the chords, I'm just going to do down strums. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay, so step 1, I figured out the key using the chord progression. Step 2, I found my scale. And step 3, I made a little lick. Well, step 3, I found where I want my lick. And step 4, I created a lick in that appropriate space, one that finishes on a G note. It doesn't have to finish on a G note, but it is good for your licks to finish on a chord tone. The chord of G has a G note, a B note, and a D note. So one of those 3 notes is a good place for you to resolve your lick on or finish your lick, and it's going to stick to the chord progression a little more. Okay, lick 2. For this particular lick, our chord progression goes E minor, C, D, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. But this time, I want to finish it on a B. So what I'm going to do, again, another chord tone of G, so it's a strong resolution. I'm going to play a lick that sounds like this. Oops. Okay, and that is a triplet that I'm pulling middle finger, 3rd fret of the E string, 3 to open. Then I'm grabbing with my index finger the 2nd fret of the C string, dropping down with my ring finger to the 4th fret of the G, 2nd fret, and then the 4th fret. 4th fret B note being both a chord tone in E minor and a G chord. Okay? So I've identified where it works, because the melody's like dun, 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 dun. So I want it over that G. That is my empty space. That is the space that I can fill up. And I'm just simply, in context, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, triple 2 and 3, 4. Okay, so again, I followed that same pattern. I followed the same instructions. I identified the key, I found the space where I wanted to put it, and I used my information with the scale and found a chord tone to resolve. All right, so far we've only worked with the major or the pentatonic scales, but we've worked in both the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic. These ideas can also work for the full-blown major scale. So let's look at this chord progression we got going. And this one's gonna go in F to D minor to C to F. And that is the key of F. One of the dead giveaways that I have in there is F and D minor are relative majors and minors, and the F and the C chord are both the root and the fifth chord, okay? Again, this isn't a lesson on finding the key. There is more to that. If you're just kind of struggling or just really like these ideas but don't know how to find the key, rely on Google to help you with your chord progressions and identifying the key. So we're going full major scale this time, and we're going to play something that sounds like this. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? Open E string, hammer on the first fret, then open A. Ring finger down to the third fret, and that's on the second beat. 2, down to the first beat, and middle finger second fret of the C string on the third beat. 3, then back to the F note. Boom. F note is our root note because we're in the key of F, so I'm resolving, and I'm also playing this lick over that F chord. So by resolving on that F, I'm making these licks a little more sticky. The other reason is that this is a major scale is because we've added the E note to it, which is the 7th tonality. One more time, triplet, 2 and 3, 4. Okay, in context. Oops, I'm over a D minor. Let's start with the F. Alright, and then I just strummed an F chord on the first beat to give it even a little more resolution. Maybe hypothetically it was finishing the song. So that is how you use the major lick. The next thing I'm going to talk about is, for you guys out there who aren't the best at figuring out the key, this is just using the chord shape. So this is a really cool hot spot that comes from this A major shape. So if I make an A major, I always have access in this shape to playing the open E, second fret, open A, second fret. Now that works as well with a bar chord. If I make a C bar chord and I play 5, 4, 3, 3, over this chord I always have access to 3, 5, 3, 5. Okay, that's a little disorganized, but it's to show you, and it works no matter what chord you're playing as long as it's just in this shape. So what we did was we took a vamp. A vamp means we're playing just one chord and we're vamping on this C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But again, know this idea would work in a chord progression. What's cool about these chord specific ones is, again, you don't need to know the key, you just need to know this chord shape and where the hot spots are in the chord shape. Alright, so the riff, what we're going to do is E string, 3 hammer 5, pointer finger down to the third fret of the A string, 3 hammer 5, back to the third fret, and then the third fret one more time, because that third fret is the C note, and we are playing a C chord. So we get one and 2 and 3, 4. Or without that strum at the end to let that note ring. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Add it to strumming with that C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. To show you how easy this works too, or how effective this trick is, I'm going to do it once over a C chord, and then we're going to do the same thing up 2 frets over a D chord. So we get Okay, so it moves with the shape. One more lick, one more fill. This is another one that's not key specific, it's chord specific as well, so I know you're gonna dig that. Okay, so this one we're gonna build around this D shape. Now, this D shape is also movable. That's an E chord, F chord, G chord, okay? So we're building it around this D shape. You could also look at this D shape from here, but also as the C shape, 2, 2, 2, 5. So this is a hot spot that exists within this chord. Okay, the riff will sound like this. All right, again coming from here. And what we're doing is, this is also part of the pentatonic shape 1 and 2. So let's say hypothetically our chord progression is going to go G, D, G, D, and that's where we want the fill, okay? Because we've determined that's where the melody, that's where the space is. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now, this D chord, the root note is on the 2nd fret here, and what I'm doing is I'm moving up 2 frets, hammering from that 2nd to the 4th. So if my root note here, I'm hammering from 2 frets away to 4 frets away, up to this A note, B, and then D, which is the root of our chord. Okay, one more time as a fill. 1, 2, 3, no, I'm sorry, it starts on the G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you have it. That's the fill based on this D chord, knowing where this root is. And this is, even though a lot of that too is coming from the pentatonic shape too. Okay, so there you have it. Those are some ideas. Again, remember, you need to be able to identify the key. You can do that with Google. Identify the space. That's also super important. Where is there a space in the melody? Where is there a space in the singing? Then you'll either use these chord shape ideas or these scale ideas to put them all together. And lastly, think about resolution. It's nice to finish that riff on a chord tone. Not necessary, but if you're going to do it with not a chord tone, really think wisely about the note and use that sparingly, because it's kind of like hot sauce, and too much hot sauce, all you're going to taste is hot sauce. All right, those are 5 ideas. Have a lovely day. Keep on rocking and rolling, keep on jamming, and keep on loving life, friends. Until next time, life is good. Take care. Cool, everybody. Thank you so much for watching to the very end. Tyler from 10thumbspro.com again. I appreciate you. You made it this far. That means all your songs, all your chord progressions, you can fill them up with licks to take your playing from pre-intermediate to intermediate and advanced. Remember to subscribe. New content like this every single Wednesday and Saturday. All kinds of ukulele lessons, songs, tutorials, covers, all kinds of great content. Skype lessons one-on-one, email me, 10thumbsproductions@gmail.com. Get your 10 Thumbs t-shirts up there. Think about becoming a Patreon. And until next time, just remember, if you got a chord progression, now you can add a lick to it. Take care.